Hey everyone, my name's Dale, welcome to the channel. On this channel I do spec for spec comparisons, and today I'm comparing the RAV4 LE versus XLE, and the question is it worth spending more money on the XLE? Please feel free to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, or jump into the comments and ask me to do a comparison for two vehicles that you would like to compare if you're on the fence. So what we're going to do is jump onto my screen. You're going to see two vehicles, again the LE versus XLE. I'm going to run through the spec like for like, and we'll find out whether it's worth spending the extra $1,510 to jump up to the XLE spec. So you can see on my screen here, we've got the price at the top here. I'm on the Kelley Blue Book website. I used to work for the equivalent of that back in the UK. So LE starts at $30,645. You want the XLE, you spend $32,155. It's a difference of $1,510. The Kelley Blue Book expert rating is the same, the consumer ratings are the same, and the numbers that you're going to see below are based on a 3-year finance agreement. So let's say you're going to finance this vehicle over 3 years and you're not sure whether you're going to keep it at the end of the term. This will help you make that decision on whether you should keep it or not, or whether you should spend the extra money to jump up to the XLE or just stick with the standard LE model. So let's go down and we'll see the differences straight away. Safety features, blind spot alert. It's an option on the LE and it's standard on the XLE. Even though it's standard on the XLE, it's a piece of safety equipment. So from a valuation perspective, on the previous role that I used to do, we would value that as a 0. We don't want to incentivize manufacturers to add safety equipment as an option, because it means ultimately that they're not making the safest vehicle they possibly can at the very base level of the range. You have to pay for safety. So we don't like to encourage that, and by doing that we don't add any value to it. So that's why that has a 0 value amount. We come down to technology. Most things are standard between the two vehicles. The only difference is that on the XLE you get the proximity sensing keyless entry, and for that I've added $100 again in 3 years time. It's just a nice option to have, a nice convenience option. You just walk up to the car, you open the door, everything works as it should, rather than messing around with keys, getting things out, unlocking it manually on your key fob. So I've added some extra value there. I think it is a good option to have. $100. Entertainment, all the same. So if you wanted something different between the two vehicles, just from an entertainment perspective, don't bother, just get the base version, the LE. Comfort and convenience. The main difference here is that you get heated mirrors on the XLE. So I've done $100 per side of the vehicle, so $200. Obviously, if you're in the warmer climates, it's an absolute must-have option. Down here in Texas, where I live, not so much. You don't really ever use heated mirrors. I'm not sure I've ever actually clicked that button on my car, but you've got to do sort of an aggregate, an average around the country. And in other places around the world for what that particular option offers, and heated mirrors is a good option to have. High resale value generally, and I've added $200 to it, and it's desirable as well. Performance between the two is the same, so I haven't actually clicked that one. Seating, power driver's seat. Yeah, so obviously you want to get into your vehicle, or somebody else wants to get into your vehicle, nice and easy to get it into position rather than trying to ratchet yourself in different various locations, backwards and forwards. It's easier just to electronically do that, and there is an additional value for that, which I have valued at $250. So definitely a worthwhile option to have. Toyota have done a pretty decent job on the spec on these actually. Leather wrapped steering wheel, I've put a line through there. It is an option on the XLE, but you can't get it standard, so I'm not going to value it. Alloy wheels. So you go from standard alloys, steel wheels on the LE, and you get alloy wheels on the XLE. And this is where, as a valuation service from where I used to work, this is where you would make the difference in value. So if you went from 17-inch alloys to 18-inch alloys, you wouldn't add any additional value. But because we're going from steel wheels to alloy wheels, you do add additional value. And that value, generally for almost all vehicles we ever looked at, was $400. So that's why it's got a fairly flat rate of $400. We don't sort of take into consideration the size or the style or anything like that. It's just, did they go from one material, in this case steel, to an alloy wheel? Yes, they did. Okay, what's that value going to be? We look at the average of that within the marketplace and how much, those two vehicles went and sold for. And then I think this is the last thing that you get that's different on the XLE, which is roof rails. If you're going to use them, really helpful to have. I'm not going to give it a 0 value because I do feel like there is some value there for those who are going to use it. And I've added $100 for that. Because if you are going to use it, it's very helpful. If you're not, it's not a massive inconvenience to have it on the top of the car. So we've added value for that as well. Alarm systems standard across the two. Mechanicals, they're all the same. So you're spending $1,500, I think it was, at the top. The value I think you're going to get from all that additional spec on the XLE is $1,050. So over 3 years, I think that you're going to lose $460, which is pretty incredible actually. So if you are in the market between an LE and an XLE and you are on the fence and you're really not sure whether you should just spend the extra money, I would advise personally to my friends as well and also to the viewers here that you upgrade to the XLE because I do think it is worth it. Again, if you like the video, please like it and subscribe, helps the algorithm and all that good stuff. If you want to jump into the comments and ask me to compare, a Bentley or whatever it happens to be, Porsche, BMW, Audis, anything like that, I'll do that. I'm going to keep going with this series and we'll see where we end up. But I appreciate you watching and thanks for listening. See you guys in the next one. Cheers.